Donald Trump, never one to shy away from the spotlight, faced his legal battles with characteristic defiance, almost as if he was starring in his own courtroom drama. His defense strategy, much like his political career, was unconventional, aggressive, and fueled by a belief in his own narrative. Think of it as The Apprentice, legal edition. From the outset, Trump and his team opted for a full frontal assault, attacking the prosecution, the media, and the very foundation of the case against him. This approach, while captivating to observe, ultimately proved to be a strategic misfire, raising questions about the effectiveness of such tactics in a court of law. Spoiler alert, it didn't go as planned. Trump's legal team, a mix of seasoned attorneys and loyalists, seemed to prioritize political maneuvering over legal strategy. They echoed Trump's own pronouncements of a witch hunt and a deep state conspiracy, attempting to paint the trial as a politically motivated attack rather than a legitimate legal proceeding. It's like a plot twist in a political thriller. This strategy, while potentially effective in the court of public opinion, failed to resonate with the jury, who were tasked with evaluating the evidence through a legal lens, not a political one. The courtroom became a battleground of competing narratives, with Trump's attorneys employing a strategy of deflection and counterattack. They sought to undermine the credibility of witnesses, often resorting to personal attacks and questioning their motives. This tactic, while common in legal battles, was employed with unusual ferocity by Trump's team, creating an atmosphere of animosity and distrust within the courtroom. One of the pivotal decisions made by the defense was to limit Trump's own testimony. While this move aimed to shield him from potentially damaging cross-examination, it also prevented him from directly addressing the allegations against him. This approach, while in line with Trump's own combative style, ultimately proved ineffective in securing a favorable outcome. To understand the shortcomings of Trump's legal strategy, it's helpful to contrast it with a case that employed a more traditional approach. The trial of Scooter Libby, a top aide to Vice President Dick Cheney, offers a compelling comparison. Libby, accused of perjury and obstruction of justice, focused on legal arguments and witness credibility. His attorneys engaged directly with the evidence, meticulously cross-examining witnesses. This strategy, while less flashy than Trump's, raised reasonable doubt in the jury's minds. Unlike Trump's team, Libby's attorneys put their client on the stand. Libby's testimony helped to sway some jurors in his favor. The Libby trial shows that focusing on legal strategy can be more effective than political theater. One of the most striking aspects of Trump's defense strategy was its reliance on alternative facts and a dismissal of evidence that contradicted his narrative. This approach, a hallmark of his political career, proved to be a significant miscalculation in the courtroom, where evidence is carefully scrutinized and legal standards demand a higher level of proof. Trump's legal team repeatedly attempted to cast doubt on the validity of evidence presented by the prosecution, often resorting to conspiracy theories and unsubstantiated claims. This tactic, while effective in sowing distrust among his supporters, failed to hold up under legal scrutiny. The judge, tasked with ensuring a fair trial, repeatedly admonished the defense for making baseless accusations and presenting conjecture as fact. This disconnect between rhetoric and reality created a credibility gap that ultimately hampered the defense's case. Witness testimony played a crucial role in the trial, with both the prosecution and the defense calling upon individuals to provide first-hand accounts. However, the defense's handling of witnesses proved to be a double-edged sword. The defense effectively utilized character witnesses to vouch for Trump's integrity. These witnesses provided compelling testimony that humanized Trump. However, their testimony did little to address the specific allegations. The defense's cross-examination of prosecution witnesses often backfired. Their aggressive tactics sometimes made the witnesses appear more sympathetic to the jury. In some instances, the defense's questioning inadvertently strengthened the prosecution's case. Throughout the trial, legal experts and commentators offered their insights into the defense's strategy, often expressing bewilderment at the unconventional approach and questioning its effectiveness. Many noted that the defense's focus on political arguments and personal attacks, while characteristic of Trump's own style, was ill-suited for a courtroom setting. "This is not a political rally," remarked former U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara, commenting on the defense's opening statements. "This is a court of law, and the jury will be instructed to decide the case based on the evidence, not on rhetoric or political affiliation." Barrera's observation underscored a fundamental flaw in the defense's approach. They seemed to be arguing their case to the wrong audience. Looking back at the trial, it's natural to ponder whether a different legal approach might have yielded a different outcome. While it's impossible to definitively say what might have been, legal experts have offered alternative strategies that, in their view, could have been more effective. One such strategy would have been to focus on legal technicalities and procedural challenges. This approach, often criticized as a delaying tactic, can be effective in complex cases. By meticulously challenging every aspect of the prosecution's case, the defense could have attempted to create reasonable doubt in the minds of the jury. Another strategy would have been to adopt a more conciliatory tone and engage with the evidence in a straightforward manner. Ultimately, any alternative strategy would have required a fundamental shift in approach, prioritizing legal arguments and courtroom strategy over political grandstanding. Whether such a shift would have been successful is impossible to know, but it's a question that continues to be debated by legal experts and observers alike. The jury's verdict, reached after days of deliberation, marked a turning point in the case, bringing months of speculation and legal wrangling to a close. The outcome, closely watched by the nation and the world, sent shockwaves through the legal system and the political landscape, leaving many to ponder its implications for the future of high-profile trials. The verdict, read aloud in a hushed courtroom, was met with mixed reactions. Supporters of the prosecution hailed it as a victory for the rule of law, a sign that even the most powerful individuals are not above the law. Those who had sided with the defense expressed disappointment and outrage, viewing the outcome as a politically motivated witch hunt that had culminated in an unjust result. Regardless of one's perspective on the verdict, there was no denying its historical significance. The trial had captivated the nation. The trial's legacy extends far beyond the courtroom, raising questions about the evolving nature of legal defense strategies in an era of heightened political polarization and 24/7 media scrutiny. The case has sparked a debate among legal experts about the effectiveness of unconventional tactics and the importance of maintaining credibility in the eyes of the jury. Some argue that the trial signals a need for a return to more traditional legal strategies, emphasizing the importance of a respectful demeanor and a focus on evidence. They contend that resorting to personal attacks and conspiracy theories may appeal to a defendant's base, but will ultimately backfire in a court of law. Others believe that the trial highlights the need for more creative and aggressive defense strategies, particularly in cases involving high-profile individuals. They argue that in today's media landscape, it's essential for defense attorneys to control the narrative and present their clients in the most favorable light possible. The trial's lasting impact on the legal profession remains to be seen.